So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our corporate pitch event, focusing on the future of manufacturing. My name is Kelly, and with me, my colleague Hui Ying will be taking you through the event today. We're both from the venture investing team at SGInnovate. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, SGInnovate is an early stage deep tech investor, wholly backed by the Singapore government, with the broader mandate of helping the deep tech startup ecosystem grow. We're always seeking to help entrepreneur scientists who are tackling the world's most difficult problems with not just financial investments, but to support them as they face non-technical challenges such as regulatory hurdles and market barriers.
In this edition of our corporate pitch event, we will be looking at how the adoption of Industry 4.0 technologies will change the future of manufacturing, especially in the age of digital transformation. Today, we are privileged to have with us Mr. Rohit Girdhar, Vice President, Strategy and Market Development from Infineon Technologies, who will be sharing with us his insights on how the manufacturing industry is transforming and how this unprecedented time is bringing about new opportunities for startups. This will be followed by the startup pitch session, where we have 8 companies from this region who will be sharing about their innovative solutions. With this, we hope meaningful engagements and relationships will take place. Without further ado, let's welcome Rohit to kickstart today's session. Over to you, Rohit.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. First of all, thanks very much to SGInnovate for having Infineon at this session. It's always a pleasure to be on this platform. So thank you, Kelly and Hui Ying, for inviting us. So I'm going to have a short presentation today. There's going to be a little bit of corporate information about Infineon, but I'd like to focus my presentation on the opportunities which there are in terms of working with Infineon as we go about our Industry 4.0 transformation. So I'll also show a couple of examples of startups which we are working with. And lastly, I'll end off with our co-innovation space, which is right here in Singapore, and the colleagues who are actually running that space and which the startup teams can get in touch with. So with that, if we could go to the corporate video, please. Thank you. Next slide, please. Hi, can we go to the next slide, please?
We live in a world that continuously reinvents itself. A world with visionary ideas, inspiring concepts, and smart answers to key questions of our time. How can we preserve our environment? How will our mobility needs be met in the future? How will we communicate? And how can we protect our data? Microelectronics gives answers to these questions. They are the link between the digital and the real world. Semiconductors from Infineon enable technologies to achieve more and consume less, while being accessible to everyone. Our values capture this mission. Commitment, innovation, partnership, performance. We make life easier, safer, and greener for a better future. Infineon, part of your life, part of tomorrow.
Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so I'll just spend a few seconds on this. So Infineon is a top 10 semiconductor company. We are headquartered in Europe. And for those of you who caught the last sentence of the video, we make life easier, safer, greener. So we focus on energy efficiency, mobility, security, big data, and AI. Those are kind of our focus areas. Can you go to the next, please? Now, for Infineon, something which is pretty unique is that we consider manufacturing to be our competitive advantage. And so we have a very large manufacturing footprint, which is spread all over the world. And because manufacturing provides competitive advantage and is a source of differentiation for Infineon, hence Industry 4.0 and investing in the future of manufacturing is so important to us as a company. Next, please. This slide actually highlights the journey which Infineon has gone through in Singapore. This year, actually, we are celebrating our 50th year in Singapore. So what actually started off as a very, what would be called now a low-tech manufacturing setup, over the years slowly evolved both in terms of size but also complexity of operations. We added a lot of corporate functions, we added a lot of support functions, design activities, but also increasingly our manufacturing setup in Singapore became more and more cutting edge. Over the last 5 to 6 years, we have actually invested significantly in manufacturing in Singapore, which has brought about a lot of usage of robotics, automation, AI, and digital tools. And going forward, this trend is expected to continue because the Singapore plant for us is actually one of the lighthouse plants. And it's the only factory of its kind which is actually used for testing microcontrollers for automotive applications. Next slide, please. And I think for most of the entrepreneurs and startups on the call, Industry 4.0 is not new. Everyone knows that the world has gone through had previously undergone 3 industrial revolutions, beginning with the application of steam as a source of power, to the assembly line, which was invented in the US by Henry Ford, and then moving on to computers, and now the 4th industrial revolution. But I think one of the ways in which this revolution is different is that it's actually going to lead to convergence of roles. So that it has a pretty significant implications on how people do work. And that is really the distinction this time in the 4th industrial revolution. Next slide, please. Yeah, and so what we're going to talk about here is specifically perhaps 4 examples from our smart manufacturing facility in Singapore. So the first one, which I'm going to talk about here, is how, in the past you had a very traditional maintenance process, right, which used to result in a lot of wastage, which was not optimal, which could potentially lead to breakdowns and downtime. And then over a period of time, we slowly went into more of a predictive approach towards this, so it's actually helped you to enable uptime and also reduce wastage. And to now, basically, where you are beginning to leverage even more predictive tools, you're leveraging the power of AI and so forth. And these are then actually real live examples in our factory. So this is the first one. It's an example more from the software side of things on how we are leveraging software tools and algorithms to help us better this. Next slide, please. And this is, this is another example also, again, from our smart factory here in Singapore. So this actually shows you, all the various ways in which the shop floor itself has been transformed. So you have a variety of technologies which have gone into this space in terms of automation, whether it's material handling systems, moving things from arrival all the way to our factory floor, or whether it is actually motion on the floor itself. There's a lot of automation technologies which are now built in. And this is also another interesting example. Next slide, please. Right, and this one actually talks about, how almost every person who's on the floor, you actually see on this slide, people who are playing different roles on the floor. Previously would not be connected, and they would probably require sort of physical interactions to update each other. Now you're sort of connected through an Internet of Things platform. All the different roles, depending on what they actually do, get access to certain kinds of data and information, and then they use this to actually perform their jobs much better in real time. Next slide, please. And this is actually something which we are incredibly proud of. This was actually put together by the team here, and it's unique in the sense for Infineon among its facilities worldwide. It's actually what we call it almost looks like, an airport control tower. So it basically gives you real-time information on a variety of metrics, how things are doing, what is going right, what are some of the potential flaws which are occurring, and all this in real time. So it's actually a dedicated setup which we have here, and it's actually it relies a lot on sensors and requires a lot on data being fed into real time. So it's a combination of hardware and software systems. Next slide, please. Right, so actually those were 4 examples of what are some of the ways in which a smart factory operates and how technology is being used to actually improve processes, to improve material handling, to improve communication, and also to actually improve monitoring in real time. But now I'd like to switch gears a little bit and maybe talk about how can startups and entrepreneurs help a company like Infineon on this journey. So actually, this is a pretty involved slide. But if you look at sort of the key takeaways from this slide, I think later we will have one of our startup partners, 6th Sense, talking about this project a little bit more in details. But for us, basically, this is a partnership with a local startup here, which allows us to leverage the power of AI for reinforced learning, but also for improvements in terms of our efficiencies of our failure analyses, so on. So this is an example where a partnership has occurred between Infineon and a local startup called 6th Sense. Next slide, please. And this is an example which is more on the hardware side. So actually what you see here is Infineon working with 3 different partners. One is obviously Synergy. Synergy is also a local startup here, and it makes very highly efficient wireless charging solutions. And these solutions are used for autonomous guided vehicles on manufacturing floors. So that was one of our partners which has been working with us on this. The second partner is this company from Taiwan, which is also working with us. And the third partner is actually from Europe, and this is more on the side. But all you see here is actually how Infineon is taking something which was existing and actually augmenting capabilities by partnering with other companies, some of which are actually startups, and they are bringing very, very unique capabilities to help us modify the hardware which we use on the factory floor. So these were the 2 examples of startups, and let's go to the next page, please. Right, and maybe you could click through. Yeah, so more broadly, right, for those from the startups who are on this call, how does Infineon engage with startups? Yes, the technical part is one aspect, but how do we actually get to that partnership level? Well, there is a step-ladder approach which Infineon pursues. We are not so focused on in terms of investing in startups. We feel that is something which is better done by financial investors as well as by venture capitalists. So we focus more on enabling startups through partnerships. How does this begin? Well, it begins on the lowest level where we engage with a lot of incubators and accelerators, and we introduce our technology. We do seminars, we share know-how, to more sort of involved partnerships where we would then jointly define projects with a few selected startups. These may actually be either paid pilots, or these may be sort of a mutual exploration of topics. And last but not the least, as we go to the highest level in this step ladder, we have our own space here in Singapore called the co-innovation space. So in this model, actually, the startup which is working with Infineon moves into our space for a period of a year to slightly more than a year. It could even be 9 months in case it's a very short project. We work together on a mutually agreed plan with clear milestones, and the startup actually stays in this space so that they have very good collaboration opportunities with our engineers. We don't charge rental for this space, and we also, beyond just offering the space and collaboration opportunities, we have a dedicated team which introduces these startups to our customers, because access to customers is often not so easy for startups and entrepreneurs. And we also sometimes have in the past introduced startup partners to our EMS partners and distribution partners in case they want to scale up from a pilot or a prototype to something which is a higher volume manufacturing concept. They would then need to work with an outsourced manufacturing partner, and we also do this. So we offer them coaching, we offer them collaboration opportunities, and we also offer them introductions. In a period of a year or so, most of the startups which have worked with Infineon so far have significantly increased in valuation and have been more successful. Next slide, please. And as mentioned on the previous page, in this step ladder approach, this only works if you have a very deep pool or a network of collaboration partners, be it incubators or accelerators, because that actually starts, creates the funnel where we can then engage with the whole ecosystem and start talking to startups. So what you see on this page is actually the entire list of our partners in the whole of the Asia Pacific region. You can also see some like Airmaker and German Accelerator, which are based here in Singapore, but also some in Korea, some of the partners which are based in India and so on. But you also see that we do hackathons, and we also do these one-off events with startups to sort of jointly brainstorm new ideas. And for that, we also have worked with other partners, which you see on the extreme right side of this slide. And we have been, our experience has been extremely good in terms of building this ecosystem. Next slide, please. So I'd like to give a short intro to the co-innovation space. If you could please. Okay, so this is actually the fourth step in the step ladder of engagement. The co-innovation space in Singapore is the only one of its kind in the world. We started this in October of 2018, coming up to the second anniversary of this space. What you saw in this video is the first cohort of startups which we had worked with. Since then, we've actually brought on board a second cohort. So in total, we've worked with about 8 or so startups thus far through this space. We are now actively looking for the next cohort. So if anybody is on this call and is interested in exploring collaboration opportunities with Infineon, then we'll be coming to the, how do you go about approaching us in a little bit. But basically, do feel free to reach out to us. We are very keen to explore ways forward. So on this slide, you actually see, who are the people behind some of the interesting topics which I shared about Industry 4.0. So yeah, these are some of my colleagues who are working in Smart Factory Singapore, who are instrumental in driving topics such as AI, also the control tower, the rollout of the automated material handling system, and also other aspects of technology imbibement into the smart factory. So they are available. Some of them may be on this call as well. We'll tell you how to get in touch with them, but they are very, very keen to explore partnerships and new ideas. Next slide, please. Yes, and these are actually two of my colleagues from the strategy M&A group. So they are also another way for startups to reach out to us. We have a dedicated email ID we wanted to share with you. It's coins@infineon.com, very easy to remember. So if you're a startup or an entrepreneur in Singapore who wants to work on the topic of Industry 4.0, has some interesting ideas either on the software side or hardware side, or maybe you are a startup which is more interested in the market areas which Infineon operates in. So it's automotive or consumer electronics or higher power electronics or security and connected systems, then also feel free to reach out to us because we welcome both, all kinds of startups. And don't be shy. We welcome and we are happy to talk to any of you. So with that, I would like to end here, and actually I look forward to the startup pitches later, and also to receiving some interesting reach outs from the broader community. Thank you very much. Over to you, Espino.
So thank you, Rohit, for sharing. Hope everyone has gained some insights to how the manufacturing industry is transforming and the new opportunities for startups in this space. So we'll now move on to the second segment of this event, the startup pitches.
We are excited to have 8 startups providing innovative solutions across the manufacturing value chain with us today. Each startups will have 5 minutes, and after each pitch, if you're interested to connect with a startup, please indicate your interest via the poll that will be launched. Without any more delay, let's welcome our first startup that will be pitching today. Abhishek, CEO and founder of Mobile AI. Abhishek, over to you.
Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for having me here. So we are a robotic software startup providing AI-based navigation software solutions to different hardware robotic companies, backed by a good amount of investors.
It is a deep tech company providing AI-based navigation software for robots. Our technology helps robots to see and act the same way as humans do, while reducing sensor costs and increasing accuracy. In this section, green dots represent the objects which were there previously, whilst blue dots represent new objects just like this person. From these dots, our system extracts a pattern and defines a shape for each object. Once combined, you can see the robot in action on the left, the camera map in the middle, and the LiDAR map on the right. Initially, the robot avoids the obstacle by moving to the left, but now, when there's a glass wall on the left, it moves to the right as there is no space. The robot stops if the destination is occupied. Here's an example of our customers who have used our solution for robots operating in the wafer industry, where the environment is dynamic and accuracy is paramount. We have worked with clients in the hospitality and service industry. In this video, the robot was assigned to go to different rooms to deliver items. The robot is able to dynamically avoid people even if they suddenly jump in front of its path. No matter how rough, dynamically changing, or narrow the path is, our navigation system can navigate any robot, big or small, to the destination. In this video, you can see a series of obstacles, and the robot generates a smooth path to avoid them. Our unique sensor fusion algorithm using computer vision and LiDAR allows us to identify different objects. It dynamically switches reliance between different sensors based on the surrounding environment.
So robotic navigation technology has been there for previously as well. So people were using 2D LiDARs or they were using line following. And there's some of them are using pure camera. So there are some different issues with that. So suppose if you are using line following, it cannot do obstacle avoidance. If you are using 2D LiDARs, it cannot work in different dynamically changing environments. While because we are using sensor fusion, we are able to overcome all of these. So not only that, because we are using sensor fusion, we are able to use camera plus LiDAR. And because of camera, we can get the shape and size of the human being, and then if you want to follow the human being, we can do that. Secondly, we do not need any infrastructure changes, so which means that we can extract the features from the space itself. So our software is called Sirius, named after one of the constellation star used for navigation. So our when we provide the software to our hardware robotic companies, they get a navigation system. It can handle glasses. It can handle multiple maps, multiple floors. It can detect obstacles, and it comes with a very good user interface. And because of this, it becomes very robust to be used in many different segments. It is quite accurate with an accuracy of about 2 centimeter. We are doing everything on board. We are not doing anything on cloud because of latency issues. So we have optimized the code in a way that everything runs on the processor, and our software can be put on any kind of robot. So that gives us a variety of markets to open into. So our software can be used in transport AGVs, it can be used for cleaning robots, it can be used for security robots, and it can be worked with service robots. We'll give you an example of how it has worked. So currently, we can work with robotic companies who have no navigation systems, who are working with magnetic tapes, who have kind of some camera systems. And we are also partnering with sensor companies to provide our software with their sensors. And also we are working with end users and partnering with the hardware companies and coming up and giving a whole solution altogether. So normally we charge a one-time integration cost, and then there is a licensing cost per unit. So there's not of, so even if, and there are cases where there is no need to pay the integration cost also. So if your system is ready, you can just take our software and ready to install. So from our past clients, we have worked with the robotic companies as well as end users and provided solutions to both of them. So currently we have about 14 full members working on this, and it's with a heavily focus on software development. So please feel free to contact us or anything if you need any more information about this robotic software navigation. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing, Abhishek. If you're interested to connect with Movo, you may indicate your interest via the poll.
Next up, we have Daryl, COO and co-founder of Augmentus. Over to you, Daryl.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can I begin, Kelly?
Yep.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daryl from Augmentus, the world's first full-stack and code-free robotic automation platform that enables 10 times faster system development at half the cost. Robotics has been proven to have tremendous benefits, to be 12 times faster, 63% more cost-effective, 81% lower in defect rates compared to manual processes. But the reality of today is that over 80% of automatable tasks are still being done manually. And the reason for that is because robotic programming is very difficult and heavily fragmented. So imagine that you want to adopt a robotic system. First, you got to purchase hardware and handle maintenance costs. But most of the cost actually stems from the software and integration side of it. And that alone can cost over $230,000 over its lifetime. And the reason for this high cost stems from these four key aspects. Robot programming softwares, like OLP softwares, are very expensive and requires high levels of technical expertise to operate. So you will need to hire or outsource robotic development. Furthermore, different robotic brands use different programming languages. So in fact, there are over 30 different programming languages in the market today. And CAD files required for programming are not always available. So you need to outsource CAD file development. That costs thousands of dollars per part. And lastly, if you would like to have intelligent-based dynamic automation processes, it's currently a very fragmented and complex procedure. Introducing Augmentus, a one-stop, code-free robotic automation platform that enables non-technical users to develop and operate AI robotic systems with high speeds and accuracy. We are a full-stack platform that simplifies and unifies industrial automation. Our software runs entirely on an iPad, eliminating the need for bulky and costly computer systems and running on ROS. We are hardware interoperable, allowing the user to operate different robotic brands and equipments seamlessly. We have an easy-to-use industrial robot programming UI UX, enabling for code-free robot programming with high accuracy through mixed reality. And our ubiquitous cloud architecture enables users to collaboratively and remotely develop and deploy systems. And lastly, our integrated AI model builder allows for easy development of AI inference models for intelligent-based dynamic automation systems. So this is how our software looks like. And through the software, you'll be able to draw robot paths over the component instead of coding to generate the waypoint, which you can adjust accurately. And then it generates the code for you to edit and verify. And then you'll be able to simulate how the actual path planning looks like in a real-world setting. So furthermore, we actually support the robust industrial robot programming feature sets, such as interactive simulation environment, cycle time calculation, collision avoidance, accurate robot teaching, singularity-free robot programming, as well as Cartesian motion planning, which are integral for applications such as spray painting, welding, cleaning, polishing, and also deburring. So here's a short video that demonstrates to you how our software works. As you can tell, the user can navigate and fluently see how the workspace looks like in 3D, and is able to program the waypoints in a very fine-tuned manner by adjusting its parameters and its I/O inputs. And after he adjusts the waypoints, the software generates the path, drastically reducing programming and development time. And after he generates the path, he will be able to see the waypoints and also see how the code looks like to edit and verify, and then simulate the path, as you can see in the video here. So after he simulates the path, he'll be able to immediately deploy it live on an industrial robot. So this software is also ideal for applications that require very, very high accuracy and very low tolerances. So as you can tell in the video, this application mimics a welding application that has very, very low tolerances as well. And if you like AI model development, our software does it as well. So as you can tell in this video, the robot detects the metal cubes and then picks and places them there. And even with an external interference, he's able to even detect the metal cube, the height and the depth as well. And all this is done code-free on an iPad. And all these applications were actually done under 10 minutes. So our clients using Augmentus have actually experienced 60% cost reduction, 17 times faster programming, and 10 times faster deployments. So for projects, we work closely with system integrators and hardware manufacturers to develop and deploy robotic systems 10 times faster at half the cost, and operators are able to easily reprogram and redeploy robotics for high-mix, low-volume applications. And we support a wide variety of applications and use cases, such as inspections, pick-and-place spraying, welding, cleaning, polishing, machine tending, and so on. So if you are a company that uses robotic systems or intends to use robotic systems, do contact us, and we would love to explore a collaborative partnership together with you as well. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Daryl. If you are interested to connect with Augmentus, please indicate your interest via the poll.
We will now pass on the time to George, CEO of Sester Robotics. George, please. George, I think we can't hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cho Chen from Sester Robotics. So a quick intro about our company. We're a leading provider of autonomous mobile robot technology solutions. We've been in business for close to 5 years, based in Singapore, and servicing manufacturing facilities in Asia. Our solutions, our robots have been deployed in the field and clocked about 1 million hours since about 4 years ago. Our mobile robots are fully developed in-house and powered by a proprietary navigation stack, as well as intelligent fleet manager. So what we do essentially is to automate labor-intensive material handling processes in manufacturing floors, especially the movement of work-in-progress parts and components between stations, and replenishment of supplies. So this is an overview of our solution suite. Our hardware in terms of the mobile robot is designed and manufactured to be compliant with safety standards. We are receiving our CE certification later part of this year. On board the AMR, it provides the edge intelligence, which does mapping, localization, and autonomous navigation. And when our end customers have a fleet of robots in their premise, they will utilize our fleet manager, which uses MARP essentially to control the traffic of the fleet of robots to ensure there is no congestion and also to find the optimal paths for them to travel. On the BI side, our fleet manager also takes on task allocation in order to increase throughput in the workflow. So we find that for our customers, this is usually the journey they go on to. For some of them, they start with just acquiring a few robots, mobile robots, and is to automate a simple workflow whereby the human operator loads and offloads the payload, and the robot essentially serves as a shuttle to automate the movement of parts. Then all the way on the right, we have cases whereby the customer actually integrates our robot with the machinery and the tools, as well as racks. And in some cases, we also integrate to the backend MES or scheduler, as well as track the payloads through the use of RFID. So this is the value chain that Sesto plays in. As mentioned earlier, we're of course designing and building hardware and software. Based in Singapore, we also provide to our key customers integration service, whereby we do payload integration based on the requirements of the customer, machine station integration, as well as interface with physical infrastructure, such as lift and doors. Our service team is also based here, servicing our key customers in Asia, where we do deployment as well as preventive maintenance. So in terms of value proposition, I won't have time to go through all of them, but one of the key features is that for many of our customers, they operate 24/7. So we have a hot swap battery system, which allows the battery to be taken out when it's fully discharged or partially discharged, and to insert in a fresh set of batteries. So that process is 5 minutes, and then it allows the robot to be up and running and virtually basically working around the clock. Our software interface is also very easy to use, as you can see from this, this visual map over here. And then we also have auto charging station where the robot auto docks once it reaches a certain pre-configured battery level. So this is a lineup of our products. We have Sesto Prime, where we integrated a 7-axis robot arm to our mobile platform. And this automates the handling and transfer of FOUPs in the semicon fabs with the highest payload of 20 kg compared to our competitors. Our flagship mobile platform is called Magnus. In terms of the compact size, we have the highest payload for our size form factor of 300 kg, and it integrates easily to different payload applications. Then the third one is we have a Health Guard, which is our disinfection robot with the highest uptime because of the battery swap system, and a dual disinfection application of using UVC lamps as well as a spacious ozone sprayer. These are the various deployments we have, not comprehensive, but some of the photos of customers we have in these 3 verticals, ranging from semiconductor customers all the way to healthcare. So we are delighted to work with any partners in terms of exploring new applications as well as new markets. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, George. If you are interested to connect with Sesto Robotics, you may indicate your interest via the poll.
We will next pass the time to Wang Fei, CEO of AeroLion.
Hi, hello. Let me share my screen. So everyone can hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm Wong Fei, CEO and co-founder of Aeroline Technologies. As you've seen from this first page, we actually do drone technologies and apply the technology to mostly industrial applications. So today's focus will be on one of our product, which is called the Blackline 068, which is an autonomous warehouse stock taking solution. And as compared to the previous startups, actually, I think this is a bit unique in terms of it's three-dimensionally flying. So about Aeroline, actually, we enable UAVs to have the intelligence to do a lot of industrial applications. And our focus in Singapore is building inspection, tunnel inspection, warehouse management, and survey and mapping. So due to the limited time, I'll go to the warehouse management portion. So I think today's topics is all about navigation and autonomous navigation, but I think we are unique in a way that everything is computed on board of the drone, and the drone is being autonomous flying in a three-dimensional space. And we also have this navigation technology that can be applicable to both unknown and known environments. There's not too much limitations to where it can be used. Yeah, so the problem statements, the main problem statement is the warehouse stock taking. So as you can see from the center of the slide, actually the conventional way of doing stock taking is very tedious and very boring, and have a lot of human-to-human interaction and human errors. But if you use a drone to do this, it is autonomous, it is very light, it is mobile, and a very consistent result will be obtained. And this is enabled by our Blackline 068 product. And this is a full product now, and we are now in the stage of fully commercializing it in the regional Singapore and Southeast Asia, especially. So the product is designed not only with intelligence, but also a lot of safety features that can make sure it can really be used in a warehouse environment. And together with the drone, there's also a ground control station, which acts as a communication relay. And the results will be downloaded to this box and also can communicate with the warehouse database wirelessly. And the full solution actually have a lot of user interfaces to make sure the user is able to configure the flight mission themselves. So the first step is to use our proprietary software to draw and manage the warehouse maps and to plan a waypoint for the drone. It is a very easy process, as a lot of basic things has already been built in. After you set all the default parameters by building a row of column and layer by layer bins, all items can be replicated, and you can replicate the rows of the warehouse to tens or hundreds of them. And the waypoint generation is also fully automated generated by including all the bin location you want to do the cycle count. And after the mission has been configured, you can actually upload the mission to the drone directly, and ready to fly the drone. So when the drone is flying, actually what is real-time doing is scanning all the QR code or barcode that can be seen by the cameras at a very high frequency, FPS. And actually the drone can work in a total dark warehouse because there's active illumination on board of the drone. And we've tested that the result of the scanning is 100% accurate. So since the drone has a navigation capability, the position of the drone is fully known. So you can actually put the position of all the tags to the bin location of the warehouse, and then generate the final result in an Excel format or any format the user wants. So there will be various situations of the bin locations, a cargo with ID, without ID, multiple IDs, or empty cargo bin locations. They all can be automatically detected and accounted. So with this solution, you can actually achieve about 16 times faster and cheaper than the original conventional way of doing this. And there's a less energy spent and a much more mobile and light solution as compared to manual data entry. And there's no errors for this thing. So as a result will be very consistent. So we are now having partners and clients in Singapore and the regional. So actually we welcome more partners now and the clients to try out our product at this stage. So Aeroline actually also offer other solutions like a building inspection, briefly scan through, and a tunnel inspection. So what in front of you are actually our test cases of the tunnel inspection product working in all types of tunnels. So they are all quite mature technology nowadays. So I think there will be a lot of applications. Yeah, and thanks a lot. And if you are interested, you can contact me at wangfei@aeroline.com. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Wang Fei. If you're interested to connect with AeroLion, you may indicate your interest via the poll.
Next up, we have Gabriel from FireAdvisor. Over to you, Gabriel.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so Sudhi should be sharing screen.
Yeah, just
Okay.
give me a minute.
Cool. Okay, shall we start?
Yep.
Right. Cool. Okay. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabriel from FireAdvisor Systems, and we are creating self-aware factories with the help of artificial intelligence. High volume manufacturers even today lose up to 40% of their revenue to defects. That is like working for 3 hours a day, 3 hours a week for nothing. The two main verticals that we operate in, the semiconductor and solar industries, lose collectively $65 billion every year just on defective goods. Saving this huge amount of money could transform a marginally successful company into a hugely profitable one. So, why do manufacturers struggle to prevent defects? The first reason is factories collect data, terabytes of it in fact. However, the only tool an engineer has to analyze them is spreadsheets or basic statistical tools. Engineers end up spending 37% of their time cleaning data before any analysis can even begin. The second reason is that response to quality issues is reactive in nature. It takes them 3 to 6 weeks to find a root cause while the defective part is still being made in the line. The third is a lot of monitoring that is done today is still done manually. This makes it hard for engineers to identify true defects and anomalies in real time. So here is how our product helps manufacturers. Our AI makes data explorable. It turns factory data into a form that humans can understand. Instead of manual monitoring, we provide a system for cognitive monitoring. Our AI learns how a factory operates and raises alarms if anything abnormal happens. Instead of reactive process control, we provide proactive process control. Our machine learning models can learn from the patterns in historical data and forecast faults. This means our clients can fix faults before they even happen. So we are the first Singaporean company to build an automated AI defect detection and analytics system for manufacturing. Our defect detection product is the best in the solar industry. Our defect analytics product is the only one of its kind automated analytics platform, which also enables predictive capabilities. So this is a short clip from one of our customers' factory in India. When we first deployed our inline software at their plant, they were struggling with a high SKP rate of 14.3%. Their SKP rate has been decreased today to 0.148%, and that's a staggering 99% improvement. Our second use case we would like to showcase today is a solar factory based in Singapore. When we first deployed our software at their plant, they had a high false reject rate of 70%. Thanks to our offline defect detection and analytics platform, we were able to save them 8,000 in engineering hours and $600,000 in labor and scrap costs. Our clients are large manufacturing companies in Singapore, India, and the European Union. And we currently analyze 1.2 million components every day. In addition, we are working with 14 large manufacturers, 2 equipment suppliers, 3 consulting and distribution partners in India, Singapore, Europe, and the United States of America. So here is the team of all-stars behind Five Visor Systems. Our CEO, Subi, has spent years improving industry giants like Micron and Seagate. She has built automation systems from scratch that save thousands in man-hours and up to 80% in cost. Our CTO, Long, has built machine learning models that analyze millions of transactions for outliers. He also designed data pipelines that scale to tens of billions of requests per month. I am Gabriel, the Business Development Manager, and we have teams in Singapore, India, and the Philippines. Right? Different teams focus on full stack development, AI modeling, and R&D. We also have an upcoming team in Vietnam that's going to be focused entirely on R&D. So thank you very much for your time. You can request a demo of our system from our website. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharing, Gabriel. If you're interested to connect with Fire Visor, you may indicate your interest via the poll.
Next up, we have Akansha, CEO and co-founder of SixSense. Akansha, over to you.
Hey, hi Hui, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Perfect.
Okay. Hello everyone. A big thanks to SGInnovate for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to share about SixSense. SixSense is an AI software company that I co-founded with Avni. I'm a mechanical engineer from IIT with experience developing automation solutions for Hyundai Motors and General Electric. Avni is a computer scientist with a trade secret for a unique analytics model. She has experience working with D.E. Shaw and Visa in the past. We are privileged to be advised by industry experts, Rajan, Ad, and Michael, with experience from Global Foundries, NEC, and McKinsey. Our investors include Singapore government-owned SGInnovate, leading VC firms BNext and Stripe, as well as the world's leading talent investor in deep technology, Entrepreneur First. This is our team of passionate experts in manufacturing, data science, and software development. Among our team are industry experts that have published papers, filed patents, and won technical competitions. So how does our technology work? Currently, defect classification is either manual or with the aid of rule-based inspection machines. The SixSense difference comes when we introduce the adaptive classif AI. Here are the variety of use cases that we are working on. They include signature clustering, defect detection and classification with wafer fabs and backend sites. Here is an example of the process. First, the inspection machine captures and sends image data to servers. Next, the in-house engineer tags image data according to defect class. Finally, the Classif AI's engine trains model using the input data. And this completes the learning process. What happens next? The inspection machine provides a new batch of untagged data. Next, Classif AI automatically classifies images into different defect codes. And finally, the manager reviews the report and does the root cause analysis and lot disposition. Here are some of the global IDMs and foundries we are working with. And one of them would be Infineon. As mentioned by Melvin, we have been using AI to classify images of mechanical rejects on lead packages. This has led to a reduction in over-rejection by 40% by delivering a world-class algorithm with an accuracy of over 97%. Thanks, Melvin and team, for the smooth cooperation and progress so far. SSIA's Voice magazine recently published an article on Global Foundries Singapore adopting Classif AI. What used to require highly trained operators is now learned and automated by Classif AI. We are heartened that Global Foundries is pleased with the results. And to quote Mr. Gu, VP and GM of GFS Fab 200 operations, Global Foundries is driving more of such initiatives across the company. And Sixense is proud to be an integral part of the journey. So what differentiates Sixense? First, we have intelligent annotations that automatically labels areas of potential defects. Second, we require 10x less data and provide up to 30% improvement in accuracy. Third, our AI solution constantly updates, capturing instant data shifts. And finally, we assist in seamless integration with all relevant machineries, resulting in a single source of truth for management to gauge defect-related performance. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Akansha. If you're interested to connect with Sixense, you may indicate your interest via the poll.
Next up, we have John. Sorry. Next up, we have Jason from Arkston. Jason, please.
Thanks. Just sharing my screen now. Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting us to present our solutions. My name is Jason. I'm here to tell you about how Arcstone is driving manufacturers towards Industry 4.0 and how we're doing this quite differently. I mean, as you can see from all the presentations today, there's quite a lot of Industry 4.0 solutions out there. And from our perspective, Industry 4.0 is really around the digital integration of equipment, processes, and operations from the production floor through the supply chain. And unlike transformations in the past where you can just buy these one-off solutions and deem it as complete, Industry 4.0 is really around setting a foundation of real-time data and then going out and sourcing the best solutions to bring in and integrate with your facility and operations. And typically because of this complexity, we see a lot of manufacturers struggle with how to deal with this transformation as people aren't sure where to begin and how to start. So Arcstone's solutions start at the factory floor to tackle the challenge of digitalization. And many operators are still paper-based, leading to inaccurate information, missing data, lack of visibility. So what we've done is we've developed our own full-fledged MES solution called ArcOps. We've built 40+ different modules that sit inside ArcOps, covering everything from scheduling, maintenance, personal management, to advanced analytics using real-time data. And the solution is built to be end-user configurable to allow for easy intuitive use by operators and easy porting from site to site. The next challenge we see quite often is that in a factory, data is scattered across different hardware systems, from machine controllers to equipment to sensors. And it's also scattered across software systems like ERP systems, warehouse management systems, inventory management. So in support of ArcOps, we've developed ArcWire to connect to the hardware, and we have ArcLink on the right to integrate with all the software systems running on the factory floor. And this integration allows us to have an end-to-end visibility over the entire production process. And once we solve the issues at their factory floor level, the next big issue for these large manufacturers is managing their complex network of suppliers. For large customers who need an overview of the entire supply chain, we have ArcNet. And this is meant to interconnect every single supplier and sub-supplier in the manufacturing supply chain to gain full visibility from raw materials to the finished good and be able to trace the entire process in real time. And in order to achieve this type of visibility, ArcSun released ArcLight as a free MES solution to help digitize suppliers so that data can start flowing up through the supply chain. And once we start generating data, that's where we can look into optimization using machine learning and AI tools. And I mean, in summary, ArcSun's suite of solutions are really focused around building a digital manufacturing ecosystem for our customers and providing visibility, control, and optimization from the production floor through the supply chain. Our clients have gotten significant benefits such as cost reductions due to man-hour savings, decreases in scrap rates, optimization of inventory, higher throughput, and other benefits. And leveraging these solutions, ArcSun has grown into 8 different countries. We have over 100+ deployments of our software, thousands of users, and hundreds of millions of dollars of equipment assets that are maintained and managed by ArcSun's solution set. So if you're in Singapore, we would love to host you at the ARTC, the Advanced Remanufacturing Technology Center, where we're a Tier 1 member and we have all of our solutions on display in a model factory setting. We're happy to provide live demos of our solutions, as obviously it's much easier to see the solutions in action versus on a PowerPoint. So with this short intro to ArcSun, we hope you're able to find some synergies for us to work together. For more information, you can always contact us or visit our website for case studies on how we've helped other manufacturers to transform their operations. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to connecting in the future.
Thank you for sharing, Jason. If you're interested to connect with ArcStone, you may indicate your interest via the poll.
Last but not least, we have John, CEO and co-founder of Visio. Over to you, John. Hi, John, we'll need you to unmute your mic.
Okay, thanks guys for hosting us. Thank you so much SGInnovate for giving us the opportunity. We are a 6-month-old startup in Singapore, and but we are pretty much established in China. We did a lot of mega projects in China. So we are in the digital twin space. Let me go through quickly what we have. Can you hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, we have created technologies that allow you to do scanning of creating 3D model. So essentially what we mean, the inherent problem with 3D content creation is a laborious, human intensive and a software process. And after you create a model, you have a lot of problems with sharing and collaboration. So we have created a new category of machines on the edge that has an embedded GPU that does a real-time point cloud processing. So we are in the space of object scanning, indoor and outdoor mapping, and city modeling. Once these scanners captured the point clouds and the data, they will send it back to the server to do the heavy processing into models, right? So essentially, we are calling it the end of 3D modeling by humans and software. It will be automated by machines and AI. So these are the category of devices that we have created over the last 3 years in China. And we are backed by 512 patents that we have filed with USPTO in the last 3 years. So the whole processing end to end is that you capture the data from all these scanners on the edge, scanning object, mapping indoor, outdoor space or model city. And then you send the data back to the server to do a heavy processing into models. So imagine the server is like a server farm of your 3D modelers doing the modeling work for you. And then we will output them across a plethora of devices like PC, desktop, tablets, and AR and VR. So this is the server farm we have in Singapore. It's actually doing the automated 3D modeling by machines and AI. So I talk about, let's put it into perspective, 100 square kilometer of a city model map, we can compute the models in two days. A 10,000 square meter of indoor and outdoor map, we can come up with a high fidelity model in 2 hours. So essentially, okay, let's give you a quick example how we scan. So this is how we scan object. It can be object of any sizes, can be a small object or as big as a tank or aircraft. After we digitize, after we scan, we run through a real-time rendering process. It runs through a graphics engine pipeline, and it creates all these high-fidelity model for you. So just imagine being used for industrial manufacturing process. You have a lot of equipment you want to scan. You want to create a digital twin model of all this equipment and stuff in the facility. So we have an ultra-fast way of capturing and scanning and rendering and make it interactive 3D across all devices. And then this is another category of devices that does the indoor and outdoor mapping. So instead of having humans to measure laser beam, we can map out the whole entire factory floor in under, say if you give us 10,000 square meter, we can do it in 2 hours. The models will come out, not just the 2D floor plan, not just the 3D floor plan, but a high definition 3D polygon, that you can do a virtual tour like this, right? So, and this is a device that we use to map that we build the optics underneath the drone. We don't build the drone, we build the optics underneath the drone. And the drone will go capture a lot of point cloud and a lot of photograph. And that images will be fed into a machine, and then we will map out the whole city models in 3D. So we have, over time, we have created a 3D model of Singapore, but I'll show you, the 3D model of Singapore was not computed by drone, it was computed by satellite. Okay, I'll give you a quick show. So, so visual essentially is all about AI and 3D. Yeah, we are creating 3D in an ultra-fast AI manner, and we are visualizing 3D also across multiple devices and platform. So essentially, we talk about 5G coming, digital twinning your factory's floor or your equipment. You're making digital twin of your equipment so that you can plan all the IoT sensors and you manage them from your command and control. These are the things that require heavy technology to quickly map object spaces and city. So we could give you highly polished, interactive 3D model in 64-bit graphics, and then power over the cloud and delivered across any devices. So our model is also VR friendly. Just plug into a VR application. You can walk around. You can be immersive and walk around and see everything in 3D. Right? So okay, I'll give you a quick example of another modeling technique that doesn't require drone. So this essentially is, the left side is a model built by Virtual Singapore. I think they have spent some 3 million into trying to build a virtual model of Singapore. And we have only done it, we have spent 2 weeks to already complete 92% of Singapore model in high fidelity 3D with 4K texture. So essentially you're talking about a massive modeling capability that can transform a lot of industry and give you digital twin model of cities, of spaces, of an object, done in a double quick, manner. Right? So on the right is undone by us. We have not employed any drones. It was all mapped by satellite and imagery. So how do we compare with Google Earth? In this respect, we are we are a baby step ahead of Google. So on the right is what Google Earth project on the same location. So I did a research on the top left-hand corner. There's a green color church, right? A green top building church. Right, that is flanked by 2 towers that is masked and netted. So I did a research. This building was undergoing renovation 2 years ago. On the left is computed by us 2 months ago. So by machines and AI and not by drones. So essentially it means our 3D map is actually more recent. The recency and freshness of our 3D map allows a lot of application building for your different usage scenario. So on the left is PUB seen from Google Earth, is all flattened. On the right is computed by my AI, the whole PUB HQ, all done by machines, right? So this left is done by us, Sabana Jurong. We have a DSTA building on the far top right corner, and the one on the right is Google Earth. You don't see, the models are significantly low res as compared to ours, right? So make a guess, this is Taiwan. On the left is Taiwan seen from Google Earth, is flattened auto photo. On the right is a model of Taiwan that I've modeled, through AI. So I have not fly a plane or a drone across, I can get it done. This is so done in 4K. It means literally I can model any city in the world without sending a plane across the country, right? So this is so done in 4K. And London, and then you have London, Paris, and you have Omani and Iran, that we have also modeled from satellite images. So this is Tokyo that we have modeled and created, metropolitan Tokyo, and the map is also most recent. So I wouldn't go too much into the detail. We have this is a local project. We have ATOS, we are building the new command control center for them for the next generation digital twin. So we are monitoring all their assets and equipment and the construction site for Sabana Jurong and ATOS, all the guarded facilities and stuff. This is like a new next generation 3D map of Singapore. And we achieve 60 frames per second animation rate without any problem. So, so I'm going to scroll through. So we are monitoring 24,000 HTV elevators, plugging in their IoT sensors and stuff, monitoring the status of sensors and everything, all done through a dashboard. So this is the thing we have done in our biggest project today, 7,200 square kilometers of Guangzhou map, and given them, and we gave them beam, point cloud, and mesh, everything. Right? Okay, so.
Yeah, hi John, we will need
this is how we scan equipment and how we scan machinery. Then it's all automated. Every 2 minutes, you will clone one object and everything is automated. And we have pioneered a new method. Take 15-second videos of the food or any object in front of you. Send the video to us. We will convert your 15-second video into an interactive 3D model, and that can be delivered across using a browser link. Right? So there's no magic to it. So 1 minute to scan, 3.5 minutes to process into model. Right. So, and then this is how we scan our handbag. So imagine, equipment and manufacturing stuff could be done, and make it into a 3D model. This is also scanned with a 15-second video converted into a 3D model. It's an egg that you can, you can also put animation into the egg, all delivered through a browser, and all sorts of stuff. So heavy machinery, military equipment, all sorts of stuff that can be modeled, with a tank and ships in point cloud. And then this is so this is how we scan indoor and outdoor. We also created a small little equipment that you can just bring consumer grade. You can bring around, and then that will let you scan spaces and you can capture spaces, and then that delivers you the virtual tour. So you can have like virtual tour like that. Imagine mapping your factory facilities and planting them and plugging it into your mission critical application, right? So we have this family of product that does the indoor and outdoor scanning. So essentially, you're talking about digital twinning, creating model, in a hassle-free way, in ultra-fast, manner, right? And then you can do 2D floor plans automatically created for you. 3D models is automatically created for you, all done by algorithms and machines. Right? So essentially, the other aspect of the modeling is that we can stitch live video inside our model. So I can roam around, walk around, see this video, see this lady is playing a musical instrument, it's live. So essentially, you can plug security cameras into your manufacturing facilities, then you can have remote surveillance, on the ground and doing virtual patrol and stuff. So all this happening in a browser, no apps to install. Right? Okay, I won't go too much into other application, but I'll show you the digital twinning of a factory. Right? So these are all the point clouds that we capture. We can convert them to beam quickly. There's no human process to do the beaming part. Everything is done by machines and AI. Right? So we can scan, all these roads and stuff, and all these integrated to the IoT sensors and stuff. Right, and we can compare beam and mesh. When for construction site virtual inspection, you can go down on the ground and then you can compare what has been built and what has the design spec on the right. So you can compare notes and see, if there's any discrepancy and also any design faults and stuff. Right. So these are the things that we map. Okay. Okay, this one last thing. We have also mapped the whole street, right? We have now completed about 45% of UK street level map, and we put it into a car simulator. We are also on track to map the entire about 200 square kilometer of about 200 kilometer of Singapore roads and street. So we are putting this into gaming, into manufacturing, into digital twinning, into many different industrial applications. Not just for, so you can see the realistic, these are all, not videos, these are all models. The street, the roads are all mapped and automated by a camera, a special optic camera mounted on the vehicle, right? So then put them into a simulator. So, okay, so so this is the first generation type. Is a backpack device, you mount it in a backpack and then you walk around and then you go scan, but at the end of the day, we have already make it so more advanced, Okay, so our business model, subscription revenue, we have not talked about hardware sales yet. We are pushing back the hardware sales to next year, but we are now doing a lot of projects in different sectors, from security, surveillance, healthcare, medical, smart city, urban planning, manufacturing, etc. We are backed by 500 plus patents, and so one. Okay, some industrial application, we are scanning power plants, and putting this real-time 3D model back to the command and control so that they can manage a facility, manage our equipment, manage our people safety, everything from at the click of a mouse, right? So you can walk around, you can see all these people are virtually live in front of you. They are walking around. So you have videos, live streams, stitches, real-time 3D into the model, right? So this is something that we pioneered and patented, right? So, and then you can go in, zoom into the control tower, right? You can zoom into the control tower. We also scan the internal, but look at the unique solution that we brought to the 3D space. When you walk around, you see everything. These are all blinking lights. It means video is seamlessly stitched and pasted into a 3D model in real time, right? Okay, so we have scan power plants, waterworks, and ammunition dump, okay, so sorry. Yeah, last part, the factory, digital twinning of factory. So we scan the digital factory, we make a digital copy of a factory. Previously, they need 24 security guard to survey the ground. Now with this, and live video and integrated, they are doing virtual patrol. They're reducing the workforce by 60% to 40. And every equipment you can interact, click on it, explode, zoom in. When you want to read the readings, you can take the readings of the IoT equipment and stuff. Notice that the background people are moving and animated. It's not a static 3D model. It's a video stitched inside a static 3D model. Okay, so and then the last one, this is a 3D model of an entrance to a police station. Look at that, there's a small little black dot walking towards the van, right? That is a human, right? There's a humanoid, and then this car moving. So it's all live, happening, 3D model, live 3D. Okay, so I think I pretty much wrap up, okay, I'm done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, John.
Sorry about
No worries. So if you guys are interested to connect with Visio, you may indicate your interest via the poll. Now that we have come to the end of this event, apologize for the delay. We hope you have an insightful session. So thank you for joining us and staying till the end.
Do sign up for our mailing list to be notified of other events that we run. If your company would like to take part in corporate events that we will be organizing in future, please feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to seeing you again and have a wonderful evening.
Wei Ming,